Sometimes the anticipation about a major car upgrade in Formula 1 turns to deflation when you see what it actually looks like. Sometimes visually small details can make for a significant change, but they don't catch the eye. Heading into the first day of the Bahrain test, the focal point was Mercedes and its much talked about slimline sidepods. And as you'd expect from the team that has dominated F1 in recent years, this did not disappoint. When the cars were rolled out onto the grid for F1's promotional shots before the start of testing, the Mercedes certainly caught the attention of rivals up and down the pit lane. The new sidepods were indeed dramatically different as part of a major update package for the second test. While Red Bull's sidepods were the big talking point of the first test, Mercedes has resoundingly stolen its thunder with its ultra-narrow, super shrink-wrapped design. But how has Mercedes achieved this? How are they supposed to work? And are they legal? Remember, you can follow all the action from Bahrain with the Race Live Hub. This not only brings you the latest lap times, tyre compounds and incidents, but also features insight from our team on the ground in Bahrain. The latest version of the Mercedes W13 has been in the works for a long time, and it is still the W13, not the W13B as some have called it, because the team considers it essentially to be a bodywork upgrade. There have been hints of something this aggressive for some time. Senior Mercedes personnel have stressed repeatedly the focus put into the car's cooling requirements. Mercedes high-performance powertrains boss Hal Thomas noted a huge change in the sidepod design in a video the team put out explaining the biggest changes on the 2022 car. The original Mercedes sidepods still shrank significantly at the back, so it's possible those comments were aimed purely at what was already visible rather than a tease of what was to come. But it does give a clear indication of how much effort was put into this. The Mercedes appears to be as close to a no sidepod design as is possible under the regulations. The mandatory side impact structures dictate the maximum width, and there is the need for this narrow, tall cooling inlet at the front of the sidepod. With the cooling packaged more inboard and potentially a little higher in the car, Mercedes has created the space for a tightly clad sidepod that then quickly narrows. Thomas has described the packaging of the 2022 Mercedes power unit as completely different, which has facilitated this most aggressive of minimal sidepod solutions. The question now is, will it deliver the performance gains expected, especially given the eye-watering lap time improvement the race understands has been delivered in the simulator? Before we get on to how the new sidepods work and if they are legal, we just wanted to say thank you for watching our latest F1 2022 video, and especially thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our channel so far. To make sure you don't miss anything from the race, hit the subscribe button and chime the notifications bell so you know the second there's something new to watch. At the first test, Mercedes turned up with a neat and tidy sidepod design. The race's technical expert Gary Anderson took a close look at how those sidepods work, and on this illustration from Rosario Juliana, you can see why Gary suspected this was far from the final version. Note the vortices that are generated by the wavy section at the front of the floor that join up to create a powerful seal for the underfloor. The trouble is, when they get to the rear of the floor, highlighted in blue, the vortex will be disrupted when it hits it. While that could help to reduce porpoising, it's not the most competitive solution. The Bahrain package is very different and includes a new floor to go with the narrow sidepods, one that no longer features the rippling vortex generators. The differences with the new sidepod packaging are very clear. The mandatory side impact spurs effectively set the maximum width of the sidepod before they rapidly narrow, with the top one integrated into the wing mirror mounting that is also fashioned into an aggressive turning vane shape, and a small blister accommodates the lower one at the front of the sidepod. The other key factor in the width is the cooling inlet, which is tall but very narrow. The outer turning vane of the 4 that teams are permitted is now effectively a standalone barge board. This helps to ensure the airflow stays on the surface of the floor and the edge of the sidepods. The initial part of the underfloor is raised slightly and reveals the ends of the turning vanes that are under the leading edge. These will be working to generate outwash to pull some of the airflow out from the front of the floor, allowing the diffuser to work on the airflow passing under the car more centrally. With this sidepod package, Mercedes will be creating outwash low down while still allowing efficient airflow front to rear above the cyan line on the sidepods. This will generate the vortices that help seal the underfloor further rearward. It also allows high levels of mass flow through to the beam wing, which has returned under these new rules, and over the upper surface of the diffuser. Mercedes has 2 ranks of radiator outlet louvers to assist with the cooling package, which still has its main outlet at the rear of the engine cover. The engine cover itself is more bulbous than before to house some of the cooling requirements. The new package also features a new front wing. It's not a dramatic departure from the Barcelona spec, but it has a gentler transition as it sweeps inwards to the side of the nose. As always, the key question is how this works in the real world, and that's something Mercedes is learning during its on-track running in Bahrain. The new sidepods appear to be legal, and the FIA will be able to check that rigorously given the CAD data the teams have to give them. Whether they match the intention of the regulations is another question. Ross Brawn, F1's managing director of motorsport, said in an interview with F1 TV that there's nothing here that we would be overly concerned about in terms of those objectives of the regulation. But he did admit that the Mercedes concept was one that F1 did not anticipate, and he described it as an extreme interpretation of the regulations that would lead to a lot of debate. Under the current regulations, should the FIA and F1 want to make a change, it only requires a supermajority of 8 out of the 10 teams to make an immediate change to the regulations. So it's possible that if there is enough opposition, some action could be taken. Red Bull has already indicated some concern, sort of. Respected German title Auto Motor and Sport quoted team principal Christian Horner as suggesting the Mercedes sidepods were not in the spirit of the regulations. Red Bull later denied this emphatically, but issued a subsequent statement indicating no official comment has been made. Official is very significant here and indicates Horner probably did say that, but either he felt it was off the record at the time or he regrets saying it on the record, so we can safely assume there are some concerns. But let's also not forget Red Bull's design genius Adrian Newey's mantra, which is that there's no such thing as a spirit of the regulations regulation. For now, the Mercedes is the talk of the paddock in the Bahrain test. Now we need to see if Mercedes has once again stolen a march over its rivals, or if problems making the car work, or F1 politics, will intervene to stymie this bold new design.